Alright, so we need to look at number 1 here and see what we can factor out. That the numerator has nothing in common, so we're going to have to pull out what the denominator has in common. So if you look at that, they both share an 8n as their greatest common factor. So we would factor that out, and we'd be left with n plus 7. So now we can look at this and say, well, the n plus 7 is reduced to 1, so we'd be left with 1 over 8n. Alright, so for number 2, if we look at the numerator, they both have a common factor of 7. So we can factor that out. And then denominator, we need to find two numbers that multiply together to give us negative 21, but add up to be 4, and that would be a positive 7 and a negative 3. And then the v minus 3 is reduced to 1, so we're left with 7 over v plus 7. Alright, number 3, we can factor that numerator. Two numbers that multiply together to give us 9, but add up to be negative 6 would be a negative 3 and a negative 3. Now, for the denominator there, we can look at that and go, all right, well, it's the complete opposite of n minus 3. So if we factor out a negative 1, we would have an n minus 3. So we can reduce those down to 1. And then n minus 3 over negative 1, we can simplify to be negative n plus 3. Alright, so number 4. Number 4, we look at this and we say, alright, well, 28a and 40 both share a 4 in common. So that means we would factor to 7a plus 10 and all over 8a. So now we can divide the 4 and 8 both by 4. So we'd have a 7a plus 10 all over 2. Alright, number 5. You could reduce to begin with or multiply then reduce. So I'm just going to go ahead and reduce first. B over b is going to reduce to 1. 9 over 3 would just reduce to a 3. And then 2 over 2 would reduce to 1. So we're left with a 3 over b. Alright, so number 6, we'll just get rid of what we can. Got a minus 5 over a minus 5, 2 over 2, and then a over a reduced to 1. So we're left with a minus 4 all over 2. So the next one here, we do the same thing. Notice we have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. It reduces to 1. Now notice the x minus 7 and 7 minus x. They're opposites of each other. So we can get rid of those, and we're just going to put a negative out here. So now we have, x minus 5 all over 2x. And we got a negative out in front. So now that means we could flip the signs of everything in the numerator and make it negative x plus 5 all over 2x. Alright, so for the next one, there's nothing we could just reduce to 1 right away, so we just need to factor everything we can. We cannot factor that, and we cannot factor x minus 3. We got 2x here. But the denominator there both share a 9x in common, so we can factor that out, and we have x plus 1 left over. So the x plus 1 and x plus 1 reduce to 1. Get rid of the x's. So we are left with 2 over 9 times x minus 3. Alright, number 9. Number 9, we can go ahead and get rid of the x plus 2, so they reduce to 1. So now we've got k minus 4 over, well, two numbers that multiply together to give us 20 and add up to be 12 would be k plus 2 and k plus 10. We can't reduce down anymore, so our answer would be C. Alright, so number 10, we've got to keep change flip, right? It's division. So 1 over x minus 5 times, I'm going to put my x minus 4 on the bottom here. So those both share 9x squared minus 45x, both have a 9x in common. So when we factor that out, we're left with x minus 5. So we can reduce the x minus 5 to 1, so we're left with 9x over x minus 4. Alright, so number 11, we've got to add them. Since they have the same denominator, all we have to do is combine them, so we would have just 3 plus m plus 2n all over n squared. So number 12 is subtraction. So since the denominators are the same, we just got to make sure we distribute that negative sign to everything up here. Oops. So now we've got, k plus 1 minus k, and then plus 4. Well, the k minus k is 0, 1 plus 4 is 5, all over our denominator of 4k squared plus 16k. So the answer would be A. Alright, so with 13, we're going to have to get that common denominator. So we're going to have to multiply this one by the 3a minus 2 on top and bottom. Try to squeeze it in there. Whoops. Not working too well. And then this one we're going to have to multiply everything by the a plus 1. So our new denominator is now a plus 1 times 3a minus 2. And we got to distribute the 5 to the 3a and the negative 2. So that gives us 15a minus 10. And we got to distribute the 3 to both of these. This gives us plus 3a plus 3. So that numerator would simplify to be 18a. And then negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7 all over our denominator. So our answer would be B. So 14, notice we just need to multiply the second fraction by a cubed on top and bottom. So when we do that, we end up with a denominator of 5a cubed, and then 6 plus 4a to the 4th. Our answer would be A. If you guys have any questions, make sure you shoot me a message.